Hello. Welcome to Body Tarot. I'm Cara. I took last week off. Had some shit going down. Just needed to take the week off. This is a new practice of mine, sharing these on YouTube, and I'm kind of growing with it, growing through it as sort of a new experimental form of sharing my craft. And I hope that this reading stirs up something really useful for you. I don't know if I've heard so much as I've experienced. Last week or so has been a little turbulent. I have heard several people be like, really feeling the heat, feeling some compression. And so I figured it was good to just dive back in to Body Tarot to see what's going on, how we can support our bodies, ourselves, actionably, practically, strategically. I'm sort of exploring just a new way of relating to my body through training. I'm a strength athlete. I competed in strongwoman a lot, 2015 through 2020. I dipped back into it recently. I've gotten this sort of notion that I want to do it again. I'm exploring that, but my body has changed. I haven't trained the way that I used to in quite a while, and I'm exploring what the new expression is, what the new rhythm is, what the new structure needs to be. And I'm coming out of a winter of a lot of compression, internal compression, life changes, and I feel like I'm coming into spring sort of like a new, sorry for the sirens, it's a crazy night here in Brooklyn. It's like right on my street. But yeah, I feel like I'm coming into spring sort of like a newborn fawn, sort of wobbly-legged and kind of looking around like, what the fuck is going on here? So let's dive into it. If you're new here, I'm going to pull a couple of cards from a sort of traditional tarot deck for our movement, our rest, our nutrition, consumption, and we're going to start with those cards and see how things go. I've already shuffled the shit out of these. I'm just going to do it one more time. All right. I recently rearranged my room again. Feng Shui is, I don't actually know anything about the art of Feng Shui. I'm sure it's deeply mystical and beautiful and fascinating. But I do find that periodically rearranging my room has a very positive effect on my mental state. And so I'm very mindful of environment and how our environment is affecting. So anyway, enough chitter chatter, enough intro, enough hoopla. Let's dive in. Cutting this deck one more time. So first up, we have body. I'm going to go ahead and pull these. I'm going to take a second to take them in, to really let this image sort of land on me, and we'll dive in. For you, I want you to take a second, get as comfortable as you can, wherever you're seated, standing, laying, walking, what have you. And just check in with yourself. How are you doing? You okay? How you doing? Okay. Interest. Bro. I gotta know. No, okay, different. Okay. I'm pulling one more then for... Okay. I'm gonna turn this around so you can see what I'm... Body and activities. The Two of Wands augmented by fire. You're not gonna believe this shit. Nine of Cups in rest augmented by water. Consumption. Eight of Cups augmented by earth. And then play and recreation, the sun and ego. Okay, so if you don't know, you probably don't know, but this oracle deck that I'm using, that those cards are from, it's not like a deck of elements. There are 4 element cards in the deck, and I just pulled 3 of them in a row. So that's never happened. It's the magic, baby. I love when that happens. Okay, so let's dive in. So first up, we got the Two of Wands, amplified, informed by fire. Two of Wands, the suit of Wands correlates to fire. We are coming into the tail end of Aries season. We are about to go into an Aries new moon eclipse. I'm not an astrologer, but I've been, picking up the cliff notes from my astro people. There's a lot of fire energy. Fire correlates to your spirit, to your passion, to your feeling, to what gets you going, to what you give a shit about, to what animates you and makes you feel desire and lust for life. And Two of Wands is looking out at the expanse of opportunities before us and knowing that the world is our oyster and there are incredible amounts of opportunities. In fact, we may be coming from a sense of accomplishment of having already done a lot and taking a moment to truly appreciate and accept and be aware of all that we have done and really let that wealth of experience register in your body and fire you up. And I can't help but think of sort of what I was just telling you about, which is that I'm exploring my body, my training, and I had these very positive competition experiences, but my body was pretty different. I was bigger and just overall much stronger than I am now. But it was really animated and motivated by this desire for the experience and desire to, at the time, different motivations and desires throughout my competitive career. But I'm coming now to asking myself, like, what is my desire to express myself in this sport, in this form now? What is that about? I'm trying to understand the desires motivating me, the world that I'm trying to build through my body, express through my body, feel through my body in my training. I'm trying to feel out and be open to understanding the feeling of what it feels like to be the person that I desire to be, the person that I'm building. And you don't need to know who that person is yet. You don't need to have a concrete sense of, or a hard calculated definition of exactly who you want to be and what your stats are, right? But we all know what it feels like to desire, and we know what it feels like, hopefully, to be inspired. And so it's looking to inspiration to illuminate for you, to be the torch that illuminates for you the activities that are going to inspire you, to make you want to express body, to be, to body. This is the thing I've been writing about on my Substack, strengthmagic.substack.com, the link below, mostly free. That our body is not a possession that we own. Body is an expression of spirit. It is an emanation of spirit. It is a verb. I do not have a body. I body. I body all the time. You're never not bodying. So perhaps if you're feeling maybe like, you're looking for a new physical outlet or a new training program or a new way to take care of your physical body health-wise, to understand like there is no separation between an activity that's good for your body and other activities. All activity is happening all of the time. You are never not in some form of movement. Even when you are asleep, your nervous system is keeping you in action. Your body, your brain, your heart, they're keeping your lungs, they're keeping you alive, right? There's all these little actions happening all of the time. So maybe if we get rid of this separation between thinking of categories of movement, of categories of activities. This activity is a healthy activity. This activity is just for fun. Like, just dissolving those barriers completely for a little bit and pretending like if you didn't know about the alleged benefits of a particular exercise versus another, right? You would know, like it literally didn't matter. It was all the same. No matter what activity you pick, it will have a positive benefit on your health. Try that thought exercise. No matter what activity you pick, it will have a positive effect on your health or whatever your desire is, right? Feeling energized, feeling powerful, feeling sexy, whatever it is. What activity would you choose if it literally didn't matter, right? You're like, oh, well, my doctor says I need to lose weight, so I think I should do elliptical or what, like, sorry, that's such a goofy ass voice. I tire of, and I feel bad for people who feel so limited in their options, and I prickle at these systems of thought that encourage people to look at these things very mechanistically and very separate. And again, like, well, if I want to lose weight, I have to do this and this and this and this. Like, no. Our dynamic living system, our body is a spirit system, and everything is interconnected. If you are doing something that is nurturing for your soul, you're healing yourself. It's good for your body. It's good for your health. If you are doing something that's good for your soul, it's good for your health. So, maybe it's yoga, maybe it's tango dancing, maybe it's strength lifting, strength training, whatever. All right, let's move on. Fire, passion, exploring. Rest. 9 of Cups. And water. This is also interesting because we had the fire card with the fire suit, and now we have the water card with the water suit, the suit of the psyche, the emotions, deep feeling. We have 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups. Sitting pretty, sitting good, feeling good. Water. I want to immediately echo what I just said, which is that when something is good for your soul, it's good for your body. So 9 of Cups speaks to feeling very emotionally satisfied and emotionally at rest. This can happen when we are really at peace, when we are really accepting of our present moment, of our present circumstances. When we are in acceptance, we can become more present. And in that presence, we can relax. And so, water, nourishment, thinking of this both literally and metaphorically of what it means to replenish oneself, to hydrate oneself, right? To drink in, that was very Daniel Day-Lewis milkshake. Drink it up. Now you know how weird I am. Drinking it up, drinking in rest, drinking in the things that deepen our rest. I just also love how like satisfied this guy looks. I'm sorry, the camera's not going to focus on it, but he do be looking very satisfied. So when we're trying to deepen our rest, I'm trying to really rejuvenate ourselves. Like, and your sleep is when these sirens, dude, it is popping off. Hope everyone's okay. Sorry, that threw me for a second. So when we're trying to deepen our rest, what goes like into our system matters, and we'll talk about that in consumption in a moment. But rest is a state that can emerge when we are properly watered, when we are properly nourished. And so there's interplay here, right? Like, it's like trying to go to sleep when you're really hungry. It's like almost impossible. It's very annoying. And so when we're keeping in mind too that sleep and rest is literally like when your body does a lot of the calibration activities necessary to keep you healthy. It's, if you're training for this, it's when you build muscle, is when you sleep, right? So we have to create the conditions. You can't force good rest. You have to nurture and create the conditions that enable deep rest. So we look to the things in our environment. In this case, where he's sort of he's in an environment that has emotionally satisfied him. I like to think of these as like, these cups are all like trophies that he won or something. And he's just sitting there basking in like his sense of accomplishment. And this is what I was talking about earlier too, is that a really good way to sort of just remind yourself of the abundance and the rest and the peace that is available to you right now, is to count your blessings, baby. Is to actually in your heart, not just in your mind, but like actually doing some review of what you've accomplished and what you've been through, what you've made it through, and then what you have. And then you can kind of think about the things and feel about the things that get you excited for the future. But just in this moment of deepening into rest and deepening into rejuvenation, we have a whole treasure trove of life experience to draw on. And, you know, sometimes, like, I feel like we tend to only think about our past when we're recalling, like, dark, nasty shit. And it's understandable, but this is a skill that we can train ourselves to do, which is to habitually remind ourselves of our accomplishments, of giving ourselves that credit and that props of, like, I've accomplished so much. I carry that experience and that knowledge with me. I have had an impact in these positive ways. So if you find yourself maybe feeling a little dissatisfied, and maybe sort of this sense of dissatisfaction has compromised your rest in some way, that has created this feeling of urgency of I need to be doing more, which I feel like everybody, so many people that I talk to and read for and know are just like express this same feeling of urgency of I need to be doing something. And that's an absorbed feeling from the overculture. That's not a natural, normal feeling. And I want to make a distinction there, because drive and desire and lust and like the desire to like accomplish things, strive, that is normal and healthy. But this like creeping, nagging, prickling, like worry sort of urgency is not. And I think we can sort of fortify ourselves against that by acknowledging our accomplishments and nourishing ourselves in that way. Okay, I'm moving on. You get it. All right. I dropped a card. Eight of Cups, amplified by Earth. So now we have a dichotomy, because Eight of Cups is, we just talked about cups, emotional shit. Earth, physical shit, material world, walking away. This is showing up in nourishment too. So what goes into our bodies and what goes into our system, our environment. Eight of Cups has come up a lot. Not just for me, but in collective readings I've been a part of, in other readings. Eight of Cups, this popped into my head. I was just talking about this earlier. Rearranging my room. Throw your shit away. Get rid of your old shit. This is my practical advice to you. This is foolproof. This is foolproof advice I feel very confident giving to literally anyone. You don't need a lot of the shit that you have. Throw it away. I'm saying this to myself. You don't need a lot of the shit you have. Throw it away. It is baggage weighing you down. I have a room in my apartment that is like a guest room / closet. And I've just begun the process of purging and reorganizing it. And like even just the first step of doing that was huge. And I felt like this weight lifted. And I know it's like, it's calling me. There's still more to do. Because our things, our objects hold emotional baggage, psychic baggage. You can't tell me they don't. They do. They 100% do. I have a robe that I've been meaning to throw away because I got it on a Target run with my crazy ex. Sorry if calling people crazy is... it's not the best way to... It's not specific enough, honestly. This person was a very... You know what? We don't need to get into it. Bad news. So the robe's got baggage. See how much baggage just came up with me talking about a bathrobe for like 10 seconds? Like, and it's like, I know every time I put on that robe, a tiny part of me registers that connection, that history, that baggage. Maybe I'm, you could say maybe your mind is not actually thinking about that. Maybe that's just me. But like, our objects, it's like why it's so hard to throw things away. It's so hard to organize. You go through your old t-shirt drawer, you're like, no, not this t-shirt. I wore it that one time at this one place. I bought it at this one place with that one person. Our material attachments are serious attachments. And I'm a Taurus sun. I love stuff. I love things. I love stuff. I love objects. I have hella crystals, and like my desk is, look, this cute little dragon I found in my parents' house, probably belonged to one of my siblings. I just got stuff everywhere. Just like, I love stuff. I love stuff. Rocks. Okay, you get the idea. I love stuff, okay? I'm not telling you to be a total ascetic, all right? I'm not ascended. I'm not enlightened enough. I'm not Jesus being like, sell your things and I'm not at that level. But the point is that our objects accumulate weight that literally, I think, affects us on a very deep level, especially because this is anchored and informed by Earth. So we're talking about, like, yes, there's an emotional letting go that needs to happen, but there's a material expression of it. And sometimes it's through just throwing out the literal trash, the literal accumulated detritus of your last 5 years, your last decade, that is going to unearth this emotional shit that you need to let go of, that is affecting your whole body system. This goes back into environment as well. You are your environment. You are deeply informed by your environment. As we grow in personal power, we can affect our environment more and more and more. But it's acting on us as we act on it, right? I would say most of the strongest, I know a lot of strength athletes, and I would say most of the ones that I know that are very successful at what they do, they create what I think Anton LaVey called a total environment, where like everything they do, everybody that they hang out with is all reinforcing strong about that life, and like everything. Now, not all of them. Like there's of course there's variety, but the point is, the people that I know that are the best at what they do are just about that thing, and they curate their environments to reinforce that identity and that thing. So let's say you're just trying to get a little healthier, feel good in your body, just get a little in shape, right? You don't need to throw away like all your snacks necessarily. But maybe you're trying on an identity of, I'm an athlete. I'm a very fit person. What does that fit version of me's environment feel like? What does it look like? Are their gym clothes cute and easy to access? Do you get excited to put them on? Do they make you feel good? That's an example of environment, is your clothing. Clothing is environment. Is your apartment filled, or your house just like filled with crap? Like straight up, if you have a really messy space, like that just tells me a lot. Like when my space starts to get messy, it's because like shit is not great. And like, I'm not trying to be a neurotic neat freak here, but like our physical environment reflects what is going on within us. Straight up. So let that shit go. And again, this is in consumption, so maybe thinking about this as like less letting go of these material things that are sort of clogging up your environment. Like this could be a cabinet purge in your kitchen, right? This could be letting go of a certain way of like eating, being like, okay, I used to always, binge eat on Thursdays and Fridays because I don't have time to cook, and so I keep all these snacks around my house, but then I end up eating them throughout the week. So you know what I mean? So like you're resetting your physical environment around even like your kitchen, so that your kitchen is more conducive to what it is that you're trying to do. We are our environment. How many times can I say that? It's exhausting to try to constantly make decisions that are aligned with your desire and your desired identity when you have to do it all the time. So doing it in a big spurt can kind of set you up for successful execution. Like being like, okay, one big grocery trip, I'm gonna bro, these sirens be wild. Enough said. Okay. So I ended up pulling this last category spontaneously because I wanted to see if we would get the air card from the Oracle deck, but we didn't. We got ego, but that's similar because he's up in the air. And this image, as you could maybe guess, is a reference to Icarus, who built wings and flew close to the sun, trying to be like the gods. And what I love about this ego is that this is not necessarily like an admonishment. But let me rewind. And this is crazy too, because the other card is the sun. So, flying close to the sun, dude. Tarot, you. Okay. So this category, what I pulled these cards for, is the category of play. And I give play its own sort of section in BodyTarot because it's an essential basic need. And I think for a lot of people that shows up as like social time with friends, hopefully, going out, dancing, carousing, whatever it is people do, and sex and romance, sexual play, like feeling your body. Honestly, we don't have a lot of avenues. I don't think we have enough avenues for play. This could be sports, like, you know, sports league with your pals, you know. But the sun, this is a major arcana too, and this is the only one in the spread. Here comes the sun. Do 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 do. It's all right. Yeah, she spontaneously sings. So, the sun is here to illuminate, is here to warm, is here to sort of burn up the frost of winter, metaphorically, literally, and to create clarity. For me, the sun speaks to blessing and a sort of auspicious moment of clarity and fun and joy. And there's a lot of fun to be had in sort of pushing yourself, pushing your conception of self, playing with your conception of self, playing with your presentation, playing with your desires, playing with what you're striving to. So I like this ego. I'm going to pull out the Oracle, the book for this deck, because the way that they talk about ego, there's a couple of great things. Holding its private solar vigil over our minds, our egos catch for each of us in our own way a little piece of the secret dream by the ancient anonymous soul of the universe, that eternal dream of youth, hope, joy, and peace. And they go on to say a bunch of other stuff, but that first line, this is where the power of like desire comes into play for me. We were talking about that earlier with the Two of Wands. Your desire is like the voice of God whispering to you about where you should be exploring yourself and pushing yourself. And this image of Icarus, it speaks to what pushing oneself, to taking risks. I mean, they made a myth about it, didn't they? Right? And, obviously we don't want to get necessarily totally burned up, but actually there is a beauty in being totally burned up by your desires and fully knowing that you scorched and squeezed every last drop out of that experience. And what are we here to do? Honestly, what do you want to experience? And your play, like where you explore in maybe a low stakes way initially, that is where you can discover the sparks, the initial impulses of the things that can end up like consuming you in a profoundly meaningful, positive way. So don't underestimate the power of play to change your life. I only started doing strongwoman because I thought it sounded cool. It was play. It was like, all right, I'm trying to lift some rocks. I had no fucking clue what I was getting into. None. And thank goodness. Because if I had known, I might have been too scared to try it. You know what? Like, in the age of information, the less you know, the better. Go in blind. Go on a blind date with life, baby. Try something new. Go on ClassPass. Like, hit ClassPass roulette. Just blindfold yourself. Hit book. Go take a class that you have just no idea how it's gonna go. Go on Eventbrite. Just spin that wheel, baby. It's gonna light you up. It's gonna light you up. So I feel like that's a good note to end on. Let me pull 2 more cards to sort of send us on our way, and maybe as like a sort of footnote of things to keep in mind. Okay. Interesting. I don't know if that made things clearer or more confusing, but we have the 4 of Cups. 4 of Cups speaks to a couple different things. In this particular case, I think it speaks to a patience with how your emotional fulfillment presents itself. Like, don't go into everything expecting it to emotionally satisfy you. In this case, this person, like, they're being offered a cup and they're just like, maybe not yet. And so it's okay if you don't feel like fully emotionally up to engaging with certain things. But that doesn't mean that you should not try them. Just keep your expectations maybe a little softer than you would at other times. Maybe have 0 expectations, right? Going into things, trusting that there is sort of a mysterious hand at work. I pulled Oracle. I don't actually think I've ever pulled this card. Maybe, for sure I must have at some point. So I'm actually going to peep this real quick. Because this is like... Where is she? Okay. Keywords: divination. Hey, that's what we're doing right now. Sacred, meaningful, dynamic, transcend. An oracle is a way of entering into the widest dimension of life. It is a meditation on a future not yet discovered. There it is. But one we sense emerging. The irrevocable undercurrent of awakened consciousness emanating from the vital core of our being. It is the inevitable fate that lies hidden within us, circling outward from the inner storm of our being to a moment of inspired clarity that sets you on a path to your destiny. This natural phenomenon, just like a storm, cleanses the air and prepares you for the creative act of self-emergence. Well, I think I'm just gonna let that land. It prepares you for the creative act of self-emergence. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen on its own time. Be patient. Don't be running around like, where is it? Where is it? It's gonna happen. And again, because we're talking about, I mean, this is tarot, guys. So, like, yes, this is BodyTarot, but, like, it's tarot. We're still talking about everything. As above, so below. As within, so without. That which is within is like that which is without, right? So how we're noticing our physical impulses to do, to not do, to express, to not express, these are going to have mirrors in our inner life as well. So I think the one of the takeaways here for me right now is to just continue to be gentle and a little soft about how you are treating yourself, prioritizing rest and clearing out. Again, in movement, while there's fire, there's potential building here. It's not quite like gung-ho do anything yet. Like, if you're still in sort of a planning stage, just keep taking your time. There is no rush, okay? All right, guys, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. Take care of yourselves.